I am the motographer. In 2019, I embarked on the journey of a lifetime on the fantastic Indian-made Bajaj Dominar 400s, christened as the Ep72 Dominar Great Asian Odyssey. The road trip went from New Delhi, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, Malaysia, and finally to the tip of Singapore and beyond to Sri Lanka. Here we go.
Welcome to Sri Lanka, guys. We are meeting after a gap of 2 weeks. The last we met was in Singapore when we were shipping the bikes from Singapore and we were putting them in a container to be brought to Sri Lanka. Right now we are here in Colombo and the bikes are over there. We are seeing the bikes after a gap of 2 weeks. So the bikes took about 10 days to reach Sri Lanka from Singapore, and here they are. And the bikes look ready to roll right now. You don't need to do anything, just fill up the petrol and just ride, explore this beautiful country. Let's try to start it. So remember, the bikes have not been started for the last 2 weeks. Ignition on, and let's try to start it. Yes, feels nice. We have about a week's time to explore this tiny little island of a country, and this is the last country on the Ep72 Dominar Great Asian Odyssey. So yes, we have two very special people. First, I will go to Pratiksha.
Hi.
Pratiksha left us in Singapore one day before we left, and now she has joined us back in Sri Lanka. But she will not be riding here.
I'll be just handing over the keys to Shed.
Yes. So she came here to do the handover process. Yes, handover of the bikes. And yes,
hi guys.
Cherry. This is Cherry vlog.
Yeah, this is Cherry vlogs from Chennai actually. So having some tender water.
Looking forward to ride the Bajaj Dominar in Sri Lanka.
Very excited actually. And thank you so much XBHP for choosing me to ride here with you. And it's really a pride moment for me.
So the bikes are out of the container and going to ride them here on the Sri Lankan roads for the very first time. Let's start. So, the breakfast time. Sri Lankan team.
Alright, so finally after 14 days in the ship, the bike had arrived in Colombo and I've sat on the bike for the first time. And in those 14 days I have been riding bikes like the S1000RR, the Indian FTR, the Hayabusa, and I still feel right at home on the Dominar. So this is the Colombo traffic here in Colombo 2. So it's like they include they straight away say the pin code, Colombo 1, Colombo 2, 5, 8 and things like that, and until you reach the suburbs. And I'm in Colombo 2, which is almost I reckon the city center. And lot of Bajaj autos here again. This one is a TVS. There's also a tractor right here in the heart of the city. All right. Oh, look at this bus. Turbo Power Series Crisis 3. Yeah, this is sweet. Okay. On a naked motorcycle, wind blast while riding long distances can cause a lot of physical and mental fatigue. So during the Odyssey, we had installed an aftermarket windshield on our Dominars to avoid the wind blast. And taking note of our experience, Bajaj has now fitted the new Dominar 400 with bigger and a better looking windscreen to make your long rides even more comfortable. You can check out the new Dominars at your nearest Bajaj dealership. But for now, let's get back to the Odyssey. And it's hot. Right now in Delhi it's around 10 degrees and here it must be around 30. So that is a difference. But Sri Lanka is in the same time zone, the Indian Standard Time. So that is something which was a little bit of a surprise. Is actually in a straight line almost down below India, so obviously it's logical. But a lot nearer to the equator. Hence, I don't think they have anything called a winter here in Sri Lanka. The Colombo traffic is crazy. The roads are narrow. The overall riding sense, driving sense here is much better compared to India, but the roads are narrow, as you can see, and yeah, that's the only problem. We landed in Sri Lanka, country number 11 on the ex-BHP Dominar Gradation Odyssey. In the second week of January, after a gap of about 2 weeks while the bikes were being transiting from Singapore. As a last guest rider, we also had Cherry Vlogs to ride with us in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, just like Singapore, proved to be quite difficult in terms of paperwork, and we spent about 2 days in Colombo just to get our papers sorted. There was a long list of documents that we needed to ride the Dominars legally here, but we finally managed to do it. To be honest, riding in Colombo wasn't really a great experience. Though the tarmac quality was good and traffic here was much better managed than in India, the roads were narrow and prone to traffic jams, which made it a less than pleasurable experience.
And unlike India, the process here is very thorough. So here is the first step. They are checking all the chassis number and the engine number, cross-checking everything. Then after the visual inspection is done, he will give us this certificate of visual inspection, okay, and then we go there to get the pollution done. The process is, like I said, very thorough, and it's exhaustive. Yeah, we've been here for almost half an hour here, more than half an hour.
So finally, they don't know how to categorize foreign vehicles for a pollution check. So we have been waiting for more than 1 hour, which is supposed to only take 5 minutes. And now finally we have figured it out. So they check chassis number and all these kind of things. Here we go, I think. Just prepping up the machine. Right? The number was there, the bike number. And now I have to start the engine from here.
So finally done with the emission and vehicular test. It took more than an hour here, but it was a job of 5 minutes. The reason for the delay was because our bikes have Indian number plates, and they needed some clarity on how to process this. But the staff here was very helpful and very courteous. Now that we have the emission test, there's one more piece of paper that we need to get from the secretariat, and that is the revenue certificate. So it should not take much time either, but fingers crossed. Exploring Colombo in pursuit of one last piece of paper before we are 100% free to ride in Sri Lanka, and that piece of paper is a revenue certificate which we will get from the divisional secretariat in Maligawate, Colombo.
I can see myself in the mirror. The Joker. No game, no excuse. Have too much to learn. I know that not. Oh my god, so many things written on the back of this auto is like a book in itself. So I was told about this traffic in Sri Lanka, but yes, it is a little bit too much.